Scruffy Audio Network.
Hey, we're back on a Sunday afternoon, my man, Dr. James Choo. Chewy, let's make sure we tell the viewers and listeners what we're trying to accomplish here. We're on a part 2 of a 6-part series of a health, wellness, management type lifestyle. Mm-hmm. Is that how you try to describe what we're trying to do?
Yeah, and just talking about the barriers to that, and what it all means and what it may look like, and kind of the things that we've been always talking about, right?
And
off air.
Yeah, and again, let's just recap from part 1 of you've been trying to tell me this for the longest time. Mm-hmm. All the Woodgym guys are type A personalities, rolling through it, getting up, going to sleep, thinking about getting better, waking up, doing something like the guest we had on earlier today at 10 o'clock is a fitness competitor, was already up, doing her cardio at 4:45 on a Sunday, egg whites, oatmeal, fish. Hell, she brought a cooler in for her food for the rest of the day. Competition in 2 weeks. Okay, that's one side of the extreme. The other side of the extreme is what I picked up last week and signed a client that I was so excited about. And if people could listen to our conversations on the way home from a long day at the gym at 7:30 at night.
You call me juiced about it. Was like you signed the first time out a first rounder of some professional sport. I know that you've signed those people before, and I've never heard you so excited about this particular person.
And it makes me feel so good talking to you because there's nobody that gets it, I think, like you do. So as much as I am older than you and taking you on high school spring breaks and watched you become a family man and an awesome dude with an awesome way of how you handle your life, I still go, man, I got to call Chewy on this. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're almost the father with me with this journey of just turning a chapter, of just, I'm obsessed with it. Yeah. And I think that word, as usual, I did 2 mountain bike rides yesterday, and the second one, I listened to a Kobe Bryant one for 45 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And Chewy, you and I know
that man.
That guy. Yeah. You talk about straightforward. Yeah. You talk about the word he used was obsessed.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. 2 team buses left for the arenas. First team bus, if you want to go and stretch and get rehab. Second team bus, you start practice. He didn't take either of them. He took a car before that to get into the arena. Before, so he could do like Hoosiers and soak up the arena. And then he would mimic his plays of who he's already playing and study that person.
Crazy.
Of how to play that night. But the first bus and the second bus, when you go to practice, there's people already in the arena, that get there 2 or 3 hours early.
It's like the show.
He didn't want
the
that.
show. He wanted to be there.
He did not want that. Yeah. So the guy was obsessed. Yeah. And I felt like the correlation of where I am with this new category is obsessed. I can't find anything that's I had a doctor bring in another doctor today that worked out, and balance was horrible. And what was he, 62? I think he was like 62 years of age. Yeah. And, lean, did track, high jumper, tall, 6'3", 6'4", had the little army helmet gut, no muscle mass on him. You could tell he wasn't a bad linear athlete, but no balance, none of those things that he's like, well, I work out, but I don't do that.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't think I have the right trainer to identify what we need to do.
Right.
Then you got the guy that I had this week, that was so excited about it. He went and bought New Balance Velcro sneakers. And I said, dude, you get new sneakers, new Velcros? He goes, you got it. Yeah. I'm ready. And he's like, I'm
That's awesome.
And he's doing 2 days a week.
I saw the video, and I mean, the guy, man, it was awesome that he was in there. He probably hadn't moved like that in decades, and it's great to see. But Chewy, as we talked about the mental capacity of what really triggers, the first thing he asked is, hey, I know you have a sports psychologist and you work with some guys. Can you talk to me about those? And I was like, well, he's really wanting to open up the can and see what's going on. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's great. So, I mean, let's back up a little bit and say, I've come to these conclusions in my lifestyle because of multiple mistakes I've made and not coming, and getting smacked hard in the head with life too. So, and 95% of the hardships have been self-induced. So, I'm not going to say that, I had it all figured out. I learned the hard way. So, and it, like we said, it's the mental aspect of all of this, when it comes to what a lot of physicians miss and what we're not, really trained on as much, and what we should be trained more on is the mental health, and how much it is really a critical aspect of the decisions we make for health, one way or another, good health, bad health. And we don't, we have learned so much in the ways of science and how the body works and disease. And I think all doctors know how important it is to, talk about wellness and all of that. But that's not what we talked about this before. That's not what we're paid to do. And we're also, I just came back from a meeting in Nashville with a bunch of doctors sitting around, and I just looked at the bodies that were in there, all physicians, and it was, there were some that were, in good shape, but the majority, they had some work to do. And so it's just kind of, how do we, so it's not even the healthcare professionals, are oftentimes, physicians burn out. They, don't take care of themselves. They don't, take care of they work too much. They, sometimes don't handle the stress as well. And, so it's, all of us, that are facing this thing. And so what is it that we all need to do is really kind of take this mental wellness as a kind of foundational kind of approach to all things wellness, right? So it's the, kind of mitigation of stress and, sounder relationships with our friends and family, and that we sometimes kind of forget about. And, it's the, moderation of what we eat and drink, and, all of those things. And then, of course, I'm talking to the physical guru here, of the doctor of understanding performance and what people need. And I'm talking about you, Charlie. So, all of those things, it takes a little bit of all of it. And doctors are some of the worst, only personally, and also, prescribing that to others. We're just, we could be a lot better.
Well, and 100, because you see so many doctors in here. And I'm looking across the table at one that could be a NFL cornerback, and it's Dr. James Choo, and the rest look like, they've
small.
been ridden hard and ridden harder. They don't even look like they've been put up wet. So the thing with that's funny you just pointed on that, because there was an Olympic lifter in here this week, and when the doctors were sitting on the couch and he was giving advice of nutrition, this Olympic lifter really didn't know his self-awareness, and he goes, well, how can you give that advice? I'm not going to talk in his speech, but he goes, how can you give that? Or I would. How can you give that advice when you don't look at either? Like, you don't practice that. And he's like, well put. Like you said, the doctors are like, here's the food pyramid, here's everything. Yeah. And all of them are not doing it.
Right.
Now, I came to a conclusion this week. It just happened again about doing more on the weekends.
Yeah.
Okay. I did a 2-a-day mountain bike ride yesterday and worked, and, split it up, and I'll do a mountain bike ride today. Is catching up on the weekend. So then the week you could, if you have to cheat or go up and down, you can, but you have free time from Saturday and Sunday, and people do the opposite.
Yeah.
With the food and with the drinks. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, and our listeners and viewers, if they could just think about this. If you ever meet somebody, I'm doing a study. Mm-hmm. If you could ever meet somebody that has 2 or more hobbies, 2 or more hobbies, tell me if they're in shape. Then,
I mean, if in one of those hobbies is not being in shape.
Of one of right. Okay, and then tell me the boring CEO, and tell me he's not in shape. You understand what I'm saying? Let's do a correlation with the people that come through here.
Yeah.
Everybody that is average, mediocre, let's say boating, golfing, in a band, playing guitar, skiing, archery, whatever everybody does, fine motorcycles, fine sports, automobiles.
Yeah.
boating. I do boating. They do all that.
I see
They're
what you're
usually out of shape.
I see what you're saying.
And my man Ben just saw some go through here, so I'm calling some people out, okay? Now, I mean,
I know what you're saying.
Because having Jimmy Haslam in here,
yeah.
And we talked about that. He goes, Charlie, I'm just boring. I just work and work out.
Yeah.
He doesn't like to go play golf on Saturday for 6-8 hours and tip some back at 4:30 after you've done all day.
But he's in here getting after it.
He's in uber shape,
and he's in great shape.
And that's what we're going to is the health and fitness. With a lot of the people that I'm seeing, they just want to get by.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Okay.
Well, and here's the other thing. So what you're talking about is the focus. Because what if you've got all these other things that you're doing on the weekend that are, fun and leisurely, you're not focused in on your health, right? So whereas a guy like Jimmy is laser focused, right, on what he wants to do, what he wants to accomplish, and, the time that he has, and let's get it done, physically, all that kind of stuff, which kind of makes him boring, but he is fit. He's at the top of his game at his age and all that. I think that's part of what we're all what we're seeing and saying, the correlations of those who aren't doing so well physically, but they're distracted by these other, kind of leisurely hobbies, and they're not laser focused. Is that right? Is that what you're saying?
100.
Okay.
And they're empty nesters.
Yeah.
So the hobby isn't even to get in shape.
Yeah.
It's to add more hobby bullshit on my plate that I could be somewhat bad at.
Yeah.
But I have more conversation at a cocktail party.
I gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's a, do you
guys get it?
I see what you're saying. Yeah. For the people that come in here that are, Yeah. And whereas, Jimmy was probably doesn't have much in common as far as some of those leisurely activities at the cocktail party because he's working and getting in shape, right?
I was just looking across the table from you and going, I love you, but you're quite boring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, you're interesting. The first podcast that I started with in November.
But my lifestyle is very, it's family, I go to work, and then I work out. And that's kind of, every once in a while we'll go out and
But you went on a vacation for a week, and you just came back and started training again. You didn't go, oh, well, we did this and that and this and that. You probably didn't. You probably just chilled, spent time with the kids.
That's pretty much what
and absorbed them and was there.
That's it,
But I've never seen you swing a club or out on a boat. I mean, the hikes are now that hobby. You drop 15 to 20 pounds.
Oh yeah.
Climbing all the peaks of the world. That's totally different than I'm going to be out on a boat from Friday to Sunday.
And even that training is really, 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 really boring. There's nothing exciting about walking up this sterile flight of stairs with nothing to look at, up and down repetitively. I mean, it's not. There's nothing exciting about that at all.
Well, the exciting. I studied this. The outcome is exciting.
Yeah,
and that's why you do it. Like he said, I don't care if it's you don't like it. You're doing it.
Right.
Because of the outcome.
Right.
Is what we're looking for. But you're a different wire. Now we talk about the weekends where people lose ground. Mm-hmm. And it just happened to one of my doctors. It just left.
Yeah.
He just put on 2 pounds over the weekend. Well, we ate out here, we ate out there, we did this. And the weekends is where Jimmy and I are saying charge.
Yeah.
Charge harder.
That's the time. Yeah. Yeah. You can, yeah.
It's just a point were you have to stop. I mean, I had a leisure lunch yesterday at 4 o'clock.
Right.
I had 2 margaritas and 2 shrimp corn tacos. Mm-hmm. But then at 6:30, I went and did another mountain bike ride.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you.
What am I supposed to do? Take that into the night?
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, and you gotta.
You would. Okay. Ben would. He was looking at me like, I don't understand what the hell you guys are talking about.
Ben's like, you guys are
He looked dumbfounded. He's like, where am I right now?
Ben's like, you guys are jerks, man. Just jamming my life.
We just did a podcast at 10, and for the break, I went and crushed some beers. I was like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. I mean, and
but we're talking for the people 50, 60, 70, all the way to Jimmy's father, who's 89 years old.
And he's still fit.
He's still functional.
Yeah. Yeah.
He doesn't stop. Yeah. So it's
yeah. Yeah, how do you impart that? I mean, you got to want it, so you can't, hopefully you're encouraging an environment in here where it's, hey, these are the things that we talk about, and then these are the things that we do, and maybe turn the ship a little bit for some of these people.
Well, I'm really staying on them, Wang.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm texting them all weekend long going, stay in it. I'm probably not going to have any relationships left after this because I'm on this thing going, stay in it.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I did this. I had one doctor and I'm roasting the hell out of them all now, but it is what it is. Popcorn doesn't agree with me. I put on 3 pounds. You put on 3 pounds from popcorn.
Popcorn.
Take me through your night, Dr. So-and-so. Let's go with Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
It rhymes with something else with an S. Okay. Let's take me through your night Friday night. Brasserie. Okay, the heaviest food possible. Appetizers, salads, meals. Now, God forbid, America, we talk about splitting entrees. Whoa.
Yeah.
Now, the fitness figure did talk about that, and I like that, where she was, from overseas going, your entrees are so huge here.
Yeah.
Because we talked about, obesity.
Portion size and all that.
Portion control.
Yeah.
She talked about that. So that was spot on. Don't split an entree. You have 2 entrees. You have desserts. You tap it off with 2 bottles of wine. But the popcorn did it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So you're not even in the realm of understanding what you're talking about.
And this is a very, very smart person.
Very smart.
Yeah. I mean, but,
Gets on the scale Saturday morning and is like, I put on 3 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. In the accountability aspect of what you're trying to do with them is probably, it's good because there's clearly denial in what your food intake is.
He was back in today. I got to give him that.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what
great.
I'm saying? And I told him, as we talked about that, patience at this age, the 50s, the 60s, give it a little time. Just don't quit.
Yeah. And also ramp up the times that you're here.
Yes.
Right? So we talked about this as well, is that you can't get away with 1 or 2 sessions a week like you could, 30 years ago. And still look pretty good. You have to. It's the consistency. I almost say, if you're going to eat like that, you need to be in here 5 days a week. You know what I mean? And that's the results will come in clearly the reduction of what you eat, but I think almost more importantly, the more times that you are in here. Because I think at some point in time, your body will dictate what you want to eat if you are consistently moving and pushing weight and all that. Because
that's true.
There's a time where your performance in here, if you're performance focused in I think in your workouts and whatnot, that if you feel like shit in the performance, and that you could be better, and you start, I don't want to eat that, I don't want to drink that, I don't want because I want to feel good in here, that type of thing.
Right.
So, and people drop off every once in a while, and you just get back on. But be consistent. Be consistent in here. Be consistent at the work of being fit. Because it's so easy not to in our society.
Well,
everything's so easy to just kind of put the foot off the gas pedal and whatnot, but you especially at those ages, it's just, when you're talking about, and these are doctors, so they know, the health outcome. I mean, they know the health outcomes, but even then, it's like, it's just easy not to, and it's, but in the kind of outcomes / price to pay, they know, but it's like, so it's, even for physicians, man, it's a hard thing to impart,
You have a guy that's in his mid-60s comes in and just tells me, his weight's up. He doesn't know why. What you eat for breakfast? I think I probably had over 2,000 calories for breakfast. And I'm like, whoa.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And he was with the other group of doctors.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's breakfast. Now he did his little workout, so now they're going to slam a lunch.
Yeah.
And he's entertaining people at the house, so that goes. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, where does that stop to understand that 2,000 calories is almost a daily allowance of a caloric intake for a sedentary person? All day.
You could stop eating right there. Like,
right.
You're done.
Right. And that's the thing that is again, I'm going through social media. I'm looking. I can't see a Jack LaLanne, the next one. I can't see it. I can't find it.
Yeah.
But if they have to tell me you got to eat tons more, you got to eat more. You got to eat a whole bunch more. How is that possible? How are the new generation trainers talking? You got to speed up your metabolic rate. You don't want to starve the body, so you got to eat more.
That's what you're hearing in the game.
That's what I'm
right
hearing
now.
in the game. Yeah. Instead of portion control, burn in what you burn out. That type of
who are they targeting this for? Like just the performance people, or just like people in general?
It's the new nutritionists that are like going, hey, listen, because they're into like you can't skip meals. You know, the big thing is show me an obese person, I'll show you a person that doesn't eat breakfast. Okay, fair enough, but that's a you're going general on that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's something to say about fasted cardio. There's something to say about you could train on an empty stomach. The Harrison Smith, the safety for the Vikings, had since 8th grade. He's 31 now. Talk about a guy that understands how to eat, what to eat, not overeat.
Right.
He thinks it's all BS about the overeating of loaded to 5,000-6,000 calories. He's like, your body could do a whole bunch of things that you don't know about without a whole bunch of food in it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, that's clear. You can actually climb mountains with not a lot of food. I mean, you're not having
How would you know that?
Yeah, big ones too. I mean,
and you do those packs of stuff, so you're not eating like a 5-course meal.
No,
right? You're eating less and having to do 10 times more.
I mean, let me tell you, some of the strongest people I know on the mountains were the size of this and carrying more weight than you would know, and female, and strong as, and they weren't slamming food left and right in their face. You know what I mean? It's their body, like Harrison says, is that you could do a lot more. And you don't need we simply don't need what we consuming
overeat,
right. Oh, well, yeah,
but we're being fed that too, even in my profession. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, eat more, do less, eat more, do less, eat more, do less.
Wow, really?
And it's 100.
Wow.
You're not taking enough calories in. Now, all the different diets and nutrition plans I do, I'm talking about homeschool tennis kids that are going 6 hours a day.
Yeah.
So if I'm putting, hey, your body weight's at 200 pounds, I need 4,000 calories. Okay.
It's fine. This just reminds me of kind of the same thing that we're saying. And like, even the climbers, sometimes we have all of these, like, some will have like these, not shakes, but what do you call those? Like electrolyte packets that they put in this and these goo bars and, this and that mountain, you name it, brand type, foods and all this kind of stuff. And you'll see a Sherpa out there who is stronger than you, faster than you, the whole deal. And what are they eating? Like a cucumber.
Smaller than you?
Small. And they're eating like a cucumber, like on the side of the trail. And then like you're eating all this, overly produced crapola.
Yeah.
And you know what? And you know who's faster than who?
Yeah.
The
Sherpa.
Eating
a cucumber.
Eating a cucumber on the side of the road. And like, so no one's asking them about their nutritional intake and this and that. They're just kicking your ass up and down the mountain and with less. So it's like, Harrison's spot on that we can do so much more than with our bodies. And I think that's part of introducing that idea. Maybe a lot of these people weren't athletes at one point in time, and to understand how much more their body could perform if you fed it the right, not foods, but the physical activity and all that kind of stuff to show them where they could go with all of this, because they're exactly right. I mean, Harrison's exactly right. I mean, the average person barely taps into their physical potential, right?
Yeah.
Barely.
Yeah.
Barely.
Yeah. And really doesn't know what starving is.
Yeah. And just doesn't know, hasn't even come close to, what they could do. And maybe they don't see that they could do more or believe that they can do more. But you and I know that most people, barring some illness or disease or whatever it may be, the average person who's overweight could do a hell of a lot more than what they're doing right now, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
with less, am I right about that?
You're 100% right. And, even, we could take our guy, Freddie, world-class mountain biker, exterior athlete. I had to up his carbs and he was scared of it a little. A 3-to-1 ratio. I'm like, Freddie, you're not sedentary. Like you can't think just.
You're an outlier, so you don't have to think like everybody else.
Don't think like we're trying to lose weight. We're looking for performance still.
Right.
So he weighs in Friday, and he's like, I'm up 2 pounds, but my body fat's lower. And I was like, perfect.
Yeah.
Like we have more power for the wheels now.
Right.
And it was still throwing him off of I'm up 2 pounds. I'm like, don't worry about that. That's okay for now.
Because you're stronger.
You're stronger for now. So we need the carbs and protein. But we're talking about
the average person who is overweight.
We are not talking about
Fred
uber
Smith,
fit
no.
Fred Smith, elite, put him up against anybody in a cowboy western.
I wouldn't say Fred's boring because he's not boring. His lifestyle's not boring, but
no.
But his regimen of training is boring.
Yes.
I mean, it's like it sounds awesome,
but he doesn't have hobbies.
No, his hobby is to sit on a bike for 200 miles.
So he weight trains. Here you go. The two or more. He weight trains and bikes.
Bikes, yeah.
He doesn't talk about golf.
No.
He doesn't talk about sitting up at Cherokee Country Club by the pool, sitting in the pub, pounding something. Freddie does not. No. He's locked.
He's the first one out the door, so he can be ready for the next day.
So boring is good. And Kobe talked about that, bro. I mean, he talked about, like, if you're not giving 100, like, he's not big on the whole practice this day and age of 2019 of, like, we're taking practice light today. We're doing this light. He's like, no.
Go hard.
It's all hard. And he talks about no days off. It's 7 days a week. He talks, I mean, 18-time NBA All-Star.
Wow.
5-time. 18. 5-time NBA champ.
And for the average person, we're not saying everybody has to be Kobe Bryant, but you can learn, you can take some of those things with you. Like we could do so much more than than the 1 or 2 times a day, and that's probably 1 or 2 times a day a week is probably more than what most people do. But that's not nearly enough for your own physical well-being. There's not. I mean, you should be able to.
Well, the cycle
5-6 days a week. Yeah, I feel like you. I mean, eventually work your way up to that. I mean, that has to be that's important.
And why can't you do 2-a-days on the weekends? I mean, you do it. Yeah. You do your jiu-jitsu and then come in and train. That's 2 workouts.
Yeah.
One more thing on Kobe that blew me away, and I had to call my girls and talk to him about that because my oldest, Ashlyn, has always been a Kobe Bryant fan because I've always told her he's so mentally tough. You know, everybody's like Michael Jordan, Kobe. No, like Kobe said, it's all a chain. You don't compare Kobe to Michael, Kobe to Shaq, Shaq to LeBron. We're all chains getting better, so they all have their categories. It's kind of cool. He talked about like one helps the other. Irvin Johnson helped Kobe.
He's kind of like the foundation for the next one. Yeah.
I guess he lives in South LA, and he talked about getting up at 4 or 4:30 to train, then shoot, then be home to take his girls to school. Okay. Now,
awesome.
In a car on the highway, whatever, 6-8 lanes they have out in California.
Yeah.
When everybody started moving south, it started getting busier, and he wasn't able to do it like he wanted to do it. Now, this is Kobe. This is Kobe Bryant. We get that. But instead of going, screw it, I'll give up the weight training on this day or the practice on this day.
Yeah. He made no excuses about it.
He buys a helicopter.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. So he could get there faster.
So he could get there faster, but still get his work in, but still get home to the balance. I was amazed.
Well, shit, man. Let's talk about Jimmy. I mean, people don't know this, and maybe Jimmy doesn't want me to say this, but who flies in to work out? I will say it because no one else will say it, but there are times that I know of that you're telling me Jimmy just flew in for the workout. Or
flies out.
That's what,
that's kind of cool. That's cool. The one that's even cooler is when you've had the 14-hour day.
Yeah.
And the plane's ready to go home to Cleveland. you know, because he goes back and forth. He's transit from Knoxville to Cleveland. And he's like, Charlie, do you know how easy it would be just to stay on the highway and get to the airport and get on my plane?
No, but he stops here.
And he's like, I have to go out of my way to come to your Woodgym at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock on a Friday night to get my training in. I'm dozing at the wheel. I'm so tired. It's so easy to get on the plane, crash, get home, get a meal, go back to bed.
Badass.
And when he finishes his workout, he's like, now I feel like I could go back to work.
Yeah. There it is.
There it is. So that's a Kobe S. That's that obsessed. I think I'm going to put on my new T-shirts on the back. Be obsessed with something. There's nothing wrong with that. We know moderation and balance and this and that. But when we're talking about my client, that's 434 pounds.
Man.
We got to light fire under his ass. He's going to be obsessed. I've hit him up every day.
That's great. Yeah.
Every day. Yeah. And I haven't seen him since Thursday. But now he's my guy.
Yeah.
And I was even making the comparison this morning in the kitchen of all my business guys. They have to start looking like the Jimmies.
Yeah.
They have to start being Petrone athletes at their age.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to cut them.
Yeah.
They're not going to work.
The team.
You're out because you're not. I don't have signs. My representation are people like you, Chewy.
Yeah.
You know, people like Harrison.
Yeah.
People like Freddie. You know, it has to be like, man, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, and you just don't want the typical Army helmet. You know, the rounded shoulders. You know, so I want to improve their posture, take away some of their waistline, and have them do more.
Yeah.
You know, and then go, man, where do you train? I train at the Woodgym, man. Like that's the guy that's working this generation that is lost.
Yeah. That's awesome. You know, it's such a big transition for you. You know, one of these days I'm going to get you to release that podcast about you.
Oh, yeah. I was talking to Ben about it because I was telling him some of the advice my dad was giving me, and he was laughing like, no way. I was like, son, we can go deep and hard, but you'll be in a corner burrowed up crying going, you need help.
I can't take this anymore. Please stop talking. Yeah. So, but one of these days we'll get that released. Because it just kind of shows the generation of what you've been training over here, you know, what has led you to this path of, you know, you got all these great performers and, you know, exceptional athletes in here. But this transition for you, which this is your baby once again, of saying, hey, we need to, you know, hold people accountable. Let's get people better. And we are not talking about any one of these first round athletes. We're not talking about any of the professionals, minor league, whatever. It's major. None of that. Well, you're talking about the average everyday person that needs the help in order to become well, to become, you know, a fitter, better version of themselves, a performer, you know, physically, mentally, the whole thing here.
If you want to live.
If you want to live. Yeah. So that
if you want to live.
Yeah. So that you're not, you know, heart stents and this and that, you know, and just
you're not in the hospital at 70 and you're like, I can't fight for it.
Right.
Because, you know, I've driven this car with shitty tires, no oil change for 20 years.
Right. And this is not what we do in medicine, right? This conversation here is not what we spend, you know, the insurance dollars to you know, have these conversations. This is not what we do. You know, some do, I'm not going to say all, but the vast majority, it's, okay, well, your blood pressure is high. You got to write this for you. You know, that's, you know, and it, all those things help, but if you can biohack your body so in a way where you don't have to be on that stuff, be stronger, fitter, and all that kind of stuff, you know, and get off of those meds. I mean, you can be a lot. I mean, it's just so much better, right?
I know, Wang, but think about this, and I'm thinking about some serious stuff right now. And a 2-part statement is, you know, being in the hospital last year for 6 weeks in the ICU rooms. Correct me if I'm wrong. Aren't hospitals a business?
Yeah, for most definitely.
So they like the rooms full, don't they? In the ICU rooms. Now, I'm calling out everybody, but
yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean,
they don't like the expenses to go up. So a lot of it is, you know, they want you out as fast as they can.
Yeah,
because
but they could put the medications are what what type of billion-dollar industry
It's
to where,
huge.
I know older gentlemen that are 74 that aren't on anything. Well, they're saving money, but somebody's losing money. Because, now we could go into whole different things of the business practice of you're the exception. We get that. But, does everybody want empty hospitals?
Yeah.
That's a whole different deal.
Yeah. That gets into very, very complex conversations about the medical industrial, complex, if you want to call it that. But the whole thing is that if the, these medicines that you take on a chronic basis, which is a lot of people are on blood pressure medicines and cholesterol medicines, and you've got your your antidepressants or whatever it may be, and some people need to be on these things to keep them alive. So I won't say that, but a lot could be off of them if they they took a different approach to where they are, became obsessed a little bit about working out, being consistent, taking that approach. And it's kind of like, the Matrix. You have willingly plugged yourself into the medical matrix, so to speak. So unplug yourself from it all by, working out and doing all these other things. Nobody wants to have to be that way, So how do we turn the tide a little bit so that people are more consistent, take it more seriously.
But you are right.
All of that, so that you unplug yourself from all of the meds and the this and that, and those dollars aren't. You're not spending those dollars to prop up the medical community. You're just living your life, and it's better, and you're feeling good, and you're this and that. You're off to a better start.
I want to take my own wellness into my own hands, and that's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
I love the medical community. You know that. I'm not jamming all that.
No,
I'm just saying, take it upon yourself first. And when you do that, I find myself not wanting to drink when I come home from physical activity, especially last night. It was I did my second mountain bike ride, and I'm on this uber fit kick that I have to get to a certain level of fitness. And a glass of wine was on the counter, and I was like, nah, let me go hot tea right now. And it wasn't. But if I started from my margaritas at 4 and kept going, then you lose, we could talk about that, where you lose all your inhibitions of making the right choices when you're chemically enhanced, no matter what that is. And we talked about the stressors too. You just talked about that with the anxiety and the depression, and better than I, that's out there. That's real. We get that. And hereditary blood pressure is in mind. We get that. Yeah. But can we fight off the stressors more if we're in better shape?
Oh, 1,000%. That's a critical component of all of it. Yeah, maybe at one point in time we'll talk about more specifically. I think you're getting a mental health person in here to talk, which will be great. That's going to be fantastic. But hear from that perspective, because that is such a huge part of where we are. Is that mental wellness is something that we struggle to, as a medical field, to really help people with on a kind of a big basis, a large population basis. And it's some of these medications most definitely have a place, but it's the same type of thing. If we were teaching people how to take care of themselves a lot better and garnering these relationships better and all that, kind of easier said than done. But that's really kind of crucial to that kind of whole spectrum of wellness that we were just talking about. Right?
Well, and I'll end it on this for our part 2 series. Thanks, Ben, for reminding me. But we're doing a 6-part series on this, and this is going to lead up to more and more of these conversations. And no, I don't know where it's going to go, but I'm really hell bent on it. I really am. It's amazing. Is the stressors. We've got to teach our guys and everybody that comes through here. And what I'm trying to preach is, if you had a shitty day, don't go right home and pound something that's going to be shit for your system. Twist some steel, get a run, get a mountain bike ride, get a walk. Do that, and then tell me how you feel after that. And then tell me if you want that drink. Because when your body's exhausted, like Laird Hamilton said, you sleep.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Alcohol isn't a sleeper.
Yeah, exhausted by physical activity. Right. That's what, right. And then you lay your head on the pillow, and sleep
you're gone.
soundly. Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and then like you're in here now. You're one of the privileged, and I respect the hell out of you. Is we're gonna wrap up this podcast, and you're gonna train.
Yeah,
and you're gonna train by yourself.
Right,
and you're gonna feel great about it.
Right,
and it's probably better than any type of pill stimulant you could have.
For sure.
And then you feel great for the rest of the day with your family.
Yeah,
you're exhausted, and you got better.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I hope that's. When people get that taste of getting better, I hope that's better than the food that they eat that's maybe not so good for you, or the stuff that you ingest that that getting better, and that fuels maybe the obsession of getting better, that type of thing.
And the whole progress thing is like once they start to feel or see an inch or even a number on a scale, people say don't weigh, but why not? And as long as it doesn't mess with you mentally, when you start seeing that, the momentum starts going, and now you're going, you know what, I'm going to grab that salad at lunch instead of let's go to Soccer Taco. No offense, Maryland, I love your Soccer Tacos. But, making those better choices once in a while. Because when you sit down like that and you're getting waited on, it's so easy to go,
I'll take this.
I'll take this, and this. And
we all do it.
We all do it.
We all do it.
Let me have that drink, and, I'm going to burn it off, or maybe I get one more too. And then all of a sudden you got 300 or 400 extra calories in you that are liquid fat and sugar. And again, Laird Hamilton, sugar is the devil, as he says.
Jack LaLanne.
Sugar.
Yeah, Jack LaLanne. Yeah, it was
amen.
All
right, I'm going to wrap this one up. This is part 2 of Dr. Choo and I, the man, the myth, the legend, Chewy, giving up this Sunday for me, man. I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Thank you.